The zeros of the quadratic polynomial, this particular expression, cannot both be positive, cannot both be negative, or always unequal, or always equal. Okay, first thing is, let's recap what is a 0. 0 is that input value which when substituted will give us an output of 0. Agree? Now, what is that we have been given? We have been given a polynomial which is of a particular form, 1x square plus kx plus k. So what does that mean? K should not be equal to 0, right? Where k is not equal to 0. So k can be any number. It can be a positive number, it can be a negative number, it can be any number, it can be a fraction. So x square plus 6x or 16x plus 16, something like this is also possible. And something like x square minus root of 3 by 4x minus root of 3 by 4. All of this is a possibility. The question is, can the roots cannot be positive or cannot be negative? Which one is true? So it's cannot, not can. So how do you figure it out? First obvious thing is what? It has to be, no, actually let me explain it this way. We know that okay, let me not happy with that. We know that what is that we're looking at? Alpha plus beta is minus b by a, which is minus k, right? B is plus k. So this two will add up to negative number, and we have alpha plus, sorry, not plus, into beta is equal to c by a, which is plus k by 1. Okay guys, now let's discuss about cannot both be positive, right? Actually that is the answer, to be frank, but I'll explain why the other options are not true. Cannot both be negative. See, if we have a negative number, only then we'll get a negative number, and negative into negative is positive. So giving a reasoning that both cannot be negative, that's not true. They can be negative. Actually they will be negative for some cases. So cannot both be negative? No, that's not true. Okay, we can't have positive, to be frank, is it not? Because here we get positive will not lead to negative, positive into positive leads to positive, that I agree. But with negative, that's the advantage. Negative and negative will give us a negative answer, and negative into negative will give us a positive answer. Since the product are opposite to that of the sum in terms of signs, what can we conclude? Yes, they cannot be negatives. They cannot both be negative. So they can be negative. Are you getting it? The answer is they can be negative. Here it is cannot both be negative. Please understand that. It should be negative. We are telling it should be negative. What you have written over here is wrong. Are always unequal and equal. For this, let's consider if they are equal. So actually, option B, right? Why is option dash not the answer? I'm giving the logic so that you understand it later. Option B cannot both be negative. See, as alpha plus beta has opposite sign of alpha beta, this implies what? They have to be negative. They both have to be. So clearly the answer is option A. Means what? They both cannot be negative. Here remember, have to be negative, right? So that here the option is cannot both be negative. Okay. Next thing is we are looking at option C and D. Both. I'll be explaining it with one particular example. Let's consider, again, this is only for your understanding, okay, that alpha is equal to beta. Let me take that. So if alpha is equal to beta, what happens? Therefore, we have alpha plus beta, which is equal to k minus k, will become 2 alpha is equal to minus k, right? And we have, where is it, what color, alpha into beta, which is equal to plus k, so alpha square is equal to k. Now I'll substitute things over here. Let me change the color again from 1 and 2. Since we have k's over here, we can substitute things. So we're going to substitute k being equal to alpha square in 1. So we have 2 alpha is equal to minus alpha square, right? Agree? Now what is common in both the ends? We have alpha. So I can cut their powers. So this would be 1 and this would be alpha itself. So let me not do this. Therefore, we have alpha is equal to minus 2. Okay. So only for a particular case, right? When alpha is equal to minus 2 and beta is equal to minus 2, right? For this particular case, we have this particular situation that is possible, right? It is possible. Are always equal? No, that is not true. Are always not equal? No, that's also not true. Because for a particular case, they are equal. And remaining case, they are not equal. Is it not? So we have this particular option and this particular option is appearing. Actually, I should be cancelling that. And so the answer is option A. Okay, guys. Again, the understanding part is most important, not the answer. Don't go behind marks. Don't go behind writing the so-called answer or ticking the so-called answer in an exam. That will happen. That will eventually happen. Learn the concept, because conceptually they can ask you in many ways. This need not be the question that is being asked. Understood? Right? Again, I would like you guys to understand the options. Why they are not the answer, and then build upon that. Got it? Okay, you can pause and have a look at the answer.